Hey everybody, it's me Edward Jones, back in a new video. Today I'll be talking about alternative light sources. And I'll be talking about one in particular that may seem a bit unorthodox, but it turns out it was actually the norm many years ago. I mean a long time ago. People use candles, they've been using them for a long time, before the advent of electricity. And people nowadays still use candles, and they're part of a lot of people's emergency kits. But normally candles, you see them be made out of like paraffin wax. They'll be scented with various perfumes, different colors. But right now I'm going to show you a candle that goes back to the old school. It's unscented in a way, and it doesn't have any colors added to it. If you see this candle right here in front of me, I'll give you a few seconds to try to guess what it's made of. I guess this is made out of tallow. For those of you who don't know what tallow is, if you look on the bar, you look on the ingredients of a bar of soap, it normally says tallow. It's because tallow is like kind of an industry term for beef fat. That's right. This candle, as with many bar soaps out there, is made with 100% beef fat. I came across doing this when it was a summer a couple years back. I had a lot of time on my hands, and so I was making burgers, and it brought me back to a memory I had when I was in a restaurant, and you flip the burger over, and when the fat hit the open flame, or like a charbroiled grill, the flame would shoot up. Well, I thought of the same thing, also in the terms of burning fat. So what I did was, I cooked my burger on a George Foreman grill. I forgot how many ounces the burger was, but I think it was a Bubba burger, if you're familiar with that brand. And I collected the grease in a pie tin. Then I took a piece of rope, snipped it, let it sit inside the pie tin, and then I lit the end of it. And what I did was serve as a wick. The rope burned for 45 minutes. And I figured if I can do that with one hamburger, then maybe I can do that with, maybe I can step it up a bit. So I went out, I got a bunch of tallow, got 5 pounds from a grocery store, got a couple of strips from another one. I cut it up one point. Another time I did it, my grandparents had a hand grinder. I was in the patio grinding that stuff up, and I boiled it for several hours, and basically I was rendering fat. And if you watch Fight Club, it's the same thing, except I didn't turn it to nitro, but same principle. What you do is you store. If you notice that when you make hamburgers, like in a frying pan, if there's any water, you'll notice like there'll be a little bit of grease on the top. And I was meticulous about this. I wanted to make a lot of these, and I did. I even used the grease to help in cooking. But in the aspect of making candles, I saved up a lot of grease, and rendered it, filtered out all the meat and gristle and things like that. And then as I put it in the bowl, let it sit in the fridge for a couple hours, I think maybe 12 hours, come out with a disc about that thick, depending on how much fat you had, and you flipped it over, and you took it out, and then you put it inside of a double boiler, put that fat in there, let the fat melt. I had a little rig set up where that's not a real wick, it's actually a rope, standard rope. I had it set in place to sit in the center. I just poured the tallow as it was melted inside the jar, and then put it back in the fridge. Took it out, and I lit the wick. Got a candle. I've been doing that for several years. I mean, I made a hobby to start saving tallow every chance I get. And I worked in one restaurant where we make chili, and instead of letting that beef fat get thrown out, I'd say just give it to me. Then I asked, what are you gonna do with this? I said, don't worry about it. I got something planned for it. Take it home, get a big pot for all the fat that I've collected, heat it up, strain it, and I filled several of these jars. I mean several. I got several of these jars of beef tallow, and I decided to start keeping that as a fuel, for making candles. If you save some and keep it in the fridge, you can even use it for cooking. You can actually just scrape some off, throw it in a frying pan, and it works as a great non-stick agent for your pan frying any foods, even making gravy. Would you be amazed at some of the things you can do with just some of this, things that we normally throw out as scrap or as trash? You make some good use out of it. So you can see right here as I move this candle back and forth. See the flame is still going. It's building back up, but a lot of that right there, pretty much all of that, is melted tallow. I'm actually going to turn the light out just so you can see the candle a little bit better. Now it doesn't look like much, but if you get several of these together, maybe about 5, you can light a room up pretty well. But the purpose stays the same. What you're trying to do is have a form of light to keep around, in order in case power ever goes out. That's primarily what I like to prep for in case of power outage. I guess that's because it's the most common. A storm may knock out the power, or some other event may not have electricity for a while. So one thing I like to make sure is I at least have light, and so that's why I got into the hobby of candle making. And like I said, I've been doing this for a couple of years. I stopped for a while because I ran out of space. Honestly, I had so much tallow I had to stop because I couldn't keep it anywhere. But I made sure I had good enough stock to keep on hand for in case power ever goes out, and can't want to be able to see what's going on inside the house. So I can just make a couple of these candles in a jiffy, and light up the room, go to the bathroom, use the toilet, or whatever, what have you. And that's what I did. So next time if you're ever grilling, or more so if you're making a meatloaf, making a steak, any of that fat that if you let the pans, you let dripping sit for a bit, any of that fat that rises to the top and starts to solidify, just gonna grab yourself a Tupperware, grab that, don't be scared, just grab it, throw it inside the Tupperware, and keep saving it, and then you can melt it down in the double boiler, and you can save it. And if you got a wick, just put a wick in the middle of it, and get yourself a candle. But that's my video. Hope you enjoyed it. Me making candles. I'm Edward Jones, and thank you for watching my video.